Hey, this is Erich Hunter here, and I want to show you how to make pendulum commands. So with pendulum healing, you take a pendulum, and then many times you will say a command, which is something that you want to have happen. So for example, I could say, raise my consciousness to the highest level possible. You say the command, the pendulum spins, and then when it goes side to side, it's finished. You've done what the command has asked. You've sent that energy out, energized that thought. So I could say, raise your consciousness, the viewer, to the highest level possible in ways that are for the viewer's highest good, your highest good, and the highest good of all concerned. So I added on the highest good of all concerned there because with pendulum healing, it's a form of magic, and you don't want to do this against anyone's will. So add on for the highest good of all concerned. It will only work if it is in the highest good of all. So these pendulum commands are a big part of pendulum healing. Now, with a pendulum like this alchemist pendulum here, one of my custom pendulums, you can just hold this over a person and it can stimulate healing. But you can add another layer to it by using the command, the statement of intention. What do you want to have happen? And every day people are saying to me like, well, I have so much trouble making commands. Like, I don't know how to make commands. And there are other people who teach pendulum healing, and people like stick to their commands like it's the word of God or something. Like they're like that there's no other way that they can do it themselves. Like they have to get the perfect command or else it won't work. And the truth of the matter is that anyone can make pendulum healing commands, and the pendulum healing commands that you make can be just as effective as the ones that I make or that some of the other famous pendulum healers make. You don't have to use other people's commands unless you want to. So everything that you can come up with on your own can potentially be as powerful or more powerful than anything that an expert comes up with. So I have a whole process of going through with making commands. And I have a course called What Command Should I Use that explains this. It's also in my book, Advanced Pendulum Healing, which you can purchase on Amazon.com. But here's just a summary of the process. Number one, you should have a list of commands that you have memorized that you can just whip out and use at any time that you need them. So for example, one of my favorite ones, which I did earlier, is raise consciousness. So like I go to the grocery store, I'm like, raise the consciousness of everyone in the line, raise the consciousness of the cashier. You know, I go to the post office, raise the consciousness of everyone here. And the lines move faster, people are friendlier, the whole experience goes more seamlessly than if I don't do that. And of course, I always add on at the end, only if in the highest good of all concerned. All right, so step number one is have a list of commands, which are like general commands you can use in any situation that you have memorized. I'll give you one more. One is neutralize. So I'm going to talk about that one in a minute, but like, let's say you injure yourself. The first thing you should do is neutralize any trauma. Or, you know, something happens, you can say neutralize. This is an extremely powerful command. We've measured the energy of commands, and neutralize is an extremely powerful one. And so that's another one. You just want to have it on the tip of your tongue, like neutralize trauma. Or you could use remove trauma. Either one, they're both good. All right, so number one, list of commands. Number two, you want to have a bunch of stock phrases, like words or phrases that you can easily add another word or phrase onto to quickly create a command. These are like roots. These are like command roots. So if you memorize like, you know, 4 or 5 of these, you can come up with like dozens, hundreds of commands super easily because you already have the stem, the root of the command. All you have to do is just add on the word for showing exactly what you want. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do next with a few examples. So I'm going to share screen here and show you some really common roots and phrases. So they're right here. So use these words or phrases to make your own pendulum commands. And the first one that you want to consider is increase or decrease. So you can take your pendulum and you can say like, increase the level of love. You know, decrease the level of anger. I'm already at a really high level of love, so the pendulum didn't spin very much, and I'm at a very low level of anger, so the pendulum didn't spin really at all. So, um, the movement of the pendulum is also telling you something about the energy. If it spins for a long time, it means there's a block or a lot of energy has to go in. If it doesn't really spin much at all, it probably means that no energy is needed. Okay, another useful one is harmonize. So like, I'll give you an example. Harmonize the relationship between me and another person. Harmonize my relationship between me and the viewer for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. All right, so I'm harmonizing my relationship with you right now who's watching this video for our highest good and the highest good of all concerned. All right, another great one, neutralize. So you can say like, neutralize any negative thoughts, emotions, or memories that I have about a person that the person has about me. Now, the cool thing about neutralize, like especially in this context with like memories, is that it doesn't mean you're going to forget or that the other person is going to forget what happened. What it means is it neutralizes the charge. So it becomes neutral. It's not positive, it's not negative, it's neutral. And like if you neutralize, like one of my favorite commands is neutralize any negative thoughts, emotions, or memories. This is one you should just memorize, by the way. And neutralize makes it so that, yeah, the person remembers everything that happened, but they're coming to you at a level playing field. It's neutral. And you can meet each other equally and decide whether or not you're gonna, continue to have a relationship or not. But you're not gonna bring the past with you and bias the present moment. Another great one for neutralize and also for harmonize as well is if you take a medication. So you can say harmonize the medication with my body, neutralize any negative side effects of the medication. And then you can add in increase the effectiveness of the medication, decrease the negative, side effects. So you see, if you have these words and phrases, increase, level up, decrease, harmonize, neutralize, very quickly you can just start making commands. Like you can just boom, 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 just start shooting them out. And next thing you know, you're like doing it as good as the best professional pendulum person out there. And if you're into other types of healing modalities too, you can do the same thing. If you're doing magic or something like that, you can use this to make spells. It's the same idea. Okay, other good ones, energize. So like you can just say, energize me right now for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. Or energize everyone who's watching this video so that they become encouraged to make their own pendulum commands if it's in their highest good and the highest good of all concerned. Or energize you to make your own pendulum commands if it's in the highest good and the highest good of all concerned. I neutralize any blocks that you have to making your own commands if it's in your highest good and the highest good of all concerned. I harmonize this video with you for your highest good and the highest good of all concerned. I increase your level of receptivity to the ideas in this video if it's in your highest good and my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. And I decrease any resistance you have to making commands if it's in your highest good, my highest good, and the highest good of all concerned. And if you were doing pendulum healing in the past and you weren't doing it and now you're doing it again, I revive your interest in pendulum healing. That's the next one down there. I revive. Or you could say like, somebody is sick, I ask that this person be revived, brought back to a state of health. If something is dying, like I ask that it be revived. So, and always add for the highest good of all concerned. So I think the point is made here that having these simple phrases is a great way, and words, like just memorize words and phrases, like, and I have more of them in the course, like I have a whole list. So you have these simple words or phrases. If you memorize them very quickly, you can just start banging out commands left and right, and you can become like a command machine. And the cool thing about that is you never know which one is going to work. Which one is going to shift the probability that the change that you want to have occur will occur? Which one is going to energetically land? Because what we found, me and the other people who do pendulum healing have found, is that sometimes it just takes the right command to get the whole situation to shift in the way you want it to go. But sometimes a particular command will just have a minor effect, or it won't really seem to have much effect. But it's coming at the problem with different approaches, different angles to solve it and to help to energetically shift it in the direction that you want. All right, the final step about making commands, which I go over extensively in the course, is you can research a problem and then make commands based on the specific aspects of what it is you're researching by using the stock phrases that you memorize, and also by using the words and stems that you have memorized to create your own commands. So that's extremely powerful. So, you get a diagnosis or you suspect something's wrong, you go on Google, you find out what it is, or someone tells you, like a doctor. Then you can research it on Wikipedia, on Google, wherever. Then you have the ability to make your own commands because you have the ones that you've memorized, these commands that you have fixed. And you also have the way of building commands using root words and stems. And then you can start just using the stock commands and making your own commands based on the specifics of the situation. And this is even more powerful because then you can really pinpoint and get into where, the exact issue that needs to be addressed. Because pendulum healing, a large part of it, the way that it works is that you're shifting the probability of occurrence. You're making something more likely to happen. So yeah, sometimes you can just throw a Hail Mary pass. You could just say exactly what you want to have happen, and that will work, and it will shift the whole thing you want. And many times we call that a miracle healing. And I've seen that happen, and people doing pendulum healing have reported it to me many times, where you just do a single command or a few commands, and boom, it's like a miracle. All of a sudden you have exactly what you want to have happen. But in other cases, you will, often require you to attempt to shift the probability by making many different commands. And each one has a different influence on the system by putting your consciousness towards that system and therefore influencing it to go in one direction or another using consciousness, the movement of the pendulum, the energy. So, what I'm getting at is having multiple strategies here and having different levels at which you can go at this is extremely helpful. I hope you liked this video and that you learned a lot. And thanks for watching. And yeah, do your pendulum healing. It's really fun. If you haven't started yet, start doing it. Be ready to have some miracles happen right away. It's easy to do, and it's a very effective form of healing and magical practice. If you are already experienced pendulum healing, you already know how good it is. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye.